Hello, this is Sophomore Astrology. My name is Sarah, and for this video, I wanted to continue the Mars series and talk about Mars in Aries. Now, to kind of give a brief overview, like I have with every video about Mars, the planet, Mars is, especially when we're talking about your natal chart, it is your physical energy, it is your sexual drive. What are you motivated by? How are you motivated? And how is your energy translated in this third dimensional world? How you make things happen, and how do you get things done? So when we're talking about Mars and we're putting it in a sign like Aries, Mars in Aries is at home because Aries is the god of war, right? So Aries is all about being assertive, aggressive, maybe even violent or destructive if need be. And then Mars is that planet. Aries is ruled by Mars. So these two understand each other very well. So there's that. So I kind of want to draw more to understand this energy better. I kind of want to talk about the animal, the ram. Now, the ram is a male sheep. Now, what was interesting when I was doing all this research before I was doing this video and understanding that animal is that sheep are one of the first animals to be domesticated, right? And I just thought that was interesting because, when you think of Aries, you think of this kind of wild, uncontrolled, very I'm going to do my own thing regardless of what else is going around me. Very kind of leader of the pack type of energy for that, for a sheep, when we're talking about sheep, and how people have kind of over time, over thousands and thousands of years, have domesticated them. Even some of them don't even have horns anymore. So it's just interesting how we're talking about an animal that was once wild, and the wild horn rams that are even in Colorado or something like that. These animals are crazy. The fact that they have these horns and they're 40 pounds and they will just headbutt and charge into someone else just to stake their claim. That is very Mars and Aries energy, to kind of headbutt and not be afraid to. And almost too, when they headbutt each other, it's kind of it's almost as if it doesn't even affect them. Because I was watching this little documentary and they said that rams have a double layered skull. So when they hit each other by the head, it's almost as if once they hit each other and they get back on their feet, it's almost as if nothing happened. So also too, a Mars and Aries person also has to be kind of careful because they have such great willpower and they have such drive that they will clash and go through obstacles. I kind of think of the Juggernaut from the X-Men or something like that. Well, they'll just go through wall after wall after wall after wall. But I mean, the Mars and Aries has to kind of be careful because sometimes they'll be so self-driven and so focused on self that they might not be aware of how their actions are affecting other people around them. And I mean, of course, you would have to look at the whole entire chart. Just because someone has their Mars in Aries doesn't mean that they're just being destructive and doing whatever the fuck they want to do and just not having any consideration for other people. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying Mars in Aries energy definitely has the capability of doing that. Also, I want to say that Mars in Aries is is a natural born leader. Just physically, also too, they're just able to kind of come up on the scene. I kind of think of if you think of any detective type of movie where, the detective comes on the scene and they kind of come on and, their chest is all out and they're trying to kind of understand what's going on, and they're able to kind of tell other people what they need to do to help the crime scene. They tell, some people to put the reporters at bay and some people put on gloves and make sure that the scene stays right. Of course, I don't know what detectives do in real life. I'm just kind of using movies, and we know that can be an illusion in itself. But I hope you get what I'm trying to picture is that a Mars and Aries person will definitely come onto the scene and be able to really direct people and to kind of make the mission happen, or whatever the goal, the mission, whatever that needs to be done. A Mars and Aries will be able to crystal clearly see what they need to do in order to make that happen. And I feel like those are like good qualities of a leader, is that they understand how other people around them, their gifts and talents, what they could do to kind of help the situation and the mission to be completed. Also, too, to kind of talk about Mars and Aries. Mars and Aries could be a very competitive energy, and I almost feel like Mars and Aries people really actually need this competition, because that's how they stay sharp. It's kind of like when you think of like a sword, it needs something also hard and in order to make it sharp. I can't think of that phrase where it's like when you take a sword or something like that and you sharpen it with another sword or something like that, or like another like metal object to kind of make it that much more the edge more fine, to the point where it's like so sharp that even if you pricked your finger, it could cut you. Mars and Aries needs to be sharpened like that, because they have to stay fresh and they have to stay on their game, because you don't want a Mars and Aries person to kind of lose their way, because that's what Aries energy is already. It's a very it's cardinal fire. So it already has, in a way you can think of it, they already know their will. They already know kind of what their mission is. They already know what needs to be done. They already have some sense of direction. I know that like people with Mars and Sagittarius, they have that strong connection with God, but it's difficult for them to really translate what exactly they need to do on this planet in order to kind of make what they came here to do. It's kind of like they kind of maybe get lost in the sauce a little bit, because Sagittarius doesn't have that direction, but Mars and Aries does. And the only thing, though, the downfall of a Mars and Aries is if they do not take care to make sure, that because they could get hot tempered. Mars is a nocturnal planet, meaning that it's like of the night or of the dark. And then Aries is a sign that is diurnal, meaning that is of the light, more, it's like of the sun in a way. So there is a balance with that, with having the light and dark with the Mars and Aries. And I feel like the light and dark is kind of translated, like I said, is when they, like, the best leaders know how to be a good follower, in the sense that, like, not follower in the stereotypical sense of how everyone tries to make it sound so negative to be a follower, because all of us at one point had to be the person who had to listen to someone else's direction, whether we were just kids, whether it's work, personal relationship, doesn't matter. We've all kind of had to fall back and listen to what someone else has had to say. And I feel like a Mars and Aries knows how to be a good follower, but also a good leader, because, like, to kind of go back to talking about the ram is a sheep, and male sheep, the ram, which is, the equivalent, the same thing, it's like they could be very leadership type, and they could be very on their own and competitive and very combative, and they could really like kind of go off on their own and really try to make sure that they like claim what is theirs. But also too, with being a sheep, you also kind of understand what it is to be a follower, to understand that you have to be a part of the pack sometimes in order to kind of create that harmony. It's like Mars and Aries also kind of knows when and where to kind of bring that opposite Libra energy, and understand that there needs to be harmony in order to make leadership work at all. Like, you need to have harmonious relationships between people in order to have effective leadership take place. So a Mars and Aries person who definitely has either learned this lesson over lifetimes, or is learning it in this lifetime with their placement Mars and Aries right now, they understand the dichotomy, or at least like the polarity with being a leader and a follower, to be responsible and harmonious in their relationships, but also to understand that needs to be a leader of the pack, the pack leader. I definitely feel like a Mars and Aries knows how to balance both of those energies. And then they're just natural born leaders there. And also too, I want to say that they might not have a whole bunch of energy. You know what I'm saying? Because depending on, like I said, there are other aspects and stuff. A Mars in Aries can have a lot of energy, but they know kind of where to put that energy. Like a Mars in Capricorn just has so much energy, they don't know where to put it. They have to really tire themselves ragged in order to finally get some rest. But a Mars in Aries will understand that, like, hey, I have a long day tomorrow. Let me kind of rest up today and then use that energy and direct it and focused for the next day, which is going to be taking a lot more of their time and their energy. I feel like a Mars in Aries is a little bit more calculated. And then also, too, the last thing I want to say is that a Mars in Aries is very tactful. I kind of feel like people who've been given this placement over time, they have learned really how to outsmart their opponents. They have like 1,000 plays in their playbook. And, especially I feel like these people probably were an athlete in in a past life or this lifetime, because they have so many weapons in their arsenal to really kind of like outsmart their opponent, especially when it comes to competition or combat or anything like that. They are definitely up for it. And yeah, and I just kind of feel like a Mars and Aries person, it's just they're natural born leaders. They know how to really come on the scene, and they know the value. At least a high vibrational Mars and Aries really knows the value of what it means to be both a leader and a follower. And they don't just also see, because they can see the worth, their own self-worth and self-respect and self-honor. They're able to kind of translate that and externalize it to other people. So that makes them a good leader, because they could see the good qualities in themselves, so they could see the good qualities in other people. So, and I also have to say the last note about Mars and Aries, these people might have to exercise. Because with this Mars in Aries, it's almost like Mars is in the first house. These people could be very physical. So they might need to exercise. They have to be physical people in order to kind of like really like learn how to really learn how to hone and how to really control, and also how to kind of make this energy move and help themselves also manifest in the best ways possible. Because I feel like these people are so self-assured, and they also kind of trust God innately because they trust themselves. These people could be really good manifestors as well. So yeah, that's kind of like my take on Mars and Aries. Let me know if anyone has their Mars and Aries. I actually do have my Mars in my first house, so I actually do understand this energy pretty well, or at least I experience it all the time. So if anyone else feels this energy or knows someone like that, just let me know. And like I said, I'm Sophomore Astrology. I'm on Instagram. I have a website with the blog. Go ahead and check that out. And I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you for listening, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day.